Hey guys, so we have a pretty big time new moon in Leo cycle that we need to talk about today. The new moon itself is happening in a trine to Jupiter in Aries, who is also stationing in the sky right now, preparing to go retrograde. They say when a planet stations to go retrograde or direct, it's really amplifying and magnifying the power and the potency of that planet. And we are already talking about Jupiter that expands and supersizes things. And this trine is happening in fire signs, so there could be a very expansive, heated, fiery, passionate energy that is sort of like an undercurrent throughout the course of this entire cycle. This is also the cycle, you guys, which is hosting this big conjunction that I keep talking about, North Node, Mars, and Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And for our new moon today, Mercury is actually forming an exact square to Uranus, the North Node, and a 3-degree orb square to Mars as well. So there could be some very unexpected or shocking information that is coming in this cycle, you guys, that is totally rearranging things for us, really changing our plans about the trajectory of our future in some type of way, maybe really knocking us off of our feet or awakening something to us to something very unexpected that we had never anticipated. Things are being rearranged, they are being rectified, they are being realigned in a way that is actually going to be more conducive to our growth going forward, but might seem very unsettling, very uncomfortable in the moment. We got a lot to talk about, you guys, in terms of this new moon. It's probably one of the most critical new moon cycles of this 2022 lunar year that we are in right now. Let's get into the chart and see what this is looking like for us as this month is unfolding. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today is Thursday, July 28th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is my overview for the new moon in Leo that we have happening today. It's happening at 1:54 p.m. Eastern time, so time adjusted for wherever you're at in the world, but it's also happening at exactly 5 degrees, 38 minutes in the sign of Leo. The sun and the moon will be coming together at exactly 5 degrees and 38 minutes of Leo, and that is, of course, what gives us our new moon each month. When the sun and the moon come together in the same sign, this is starting a new cycle of creation that will carry through the duration of this 4-week period, whatever cycle we're in. And of course, you know, the new moon phase, every month, new moon basics, this is the seed planting phase. This is when we seed our intentions and, you know, we write our goals, our wishes, our dreams, and what we want to manifest and grow over the course of this new moon cycle. Whatever is seeded in the new moon begins to grow, develop, and unfold over the course of that entire cycle on an energetic level. And so whatever we're working towards, the new moon cycle is the time where we really want to start like putting those intentions into place so that they can grow and develop over that period of time. And that being said, whatever energetic blueprint is present at the exact moment of the new moon is the energy that also grows and develops over the course of that cycle. So that's why we look at the new moon every month, the new moon chart, because it's giving us an indication of what is on an energetic level going to be growing and coming to fruition throughout the course of the cycle. So that's where we're at today. That's what we're doing. We are looking at the blueprint for this next few weeks based on the energy that is present at the moment of the new moon. And like I said, like this is a big one, you guys. This is honestly probably, in my opinion, I think probably the most climactic, significant, intense new moon cycle that we are going to have this year. And that's for several reasons. First and most importantly, because this is the new moon cycle that is hosting this very powerful, rare, unique 3-planet conjunction that is happening on the 31st of July into the 1st of August. And, you know, if you've been following my channel or if you've followed astrology generally, every astrologer, I feel like, is talking about this lineup. I mean, it hasn't happened in the sign of Taurus. Mars, the North Node, and Uranus have not come together in the sign of Taurus in over 2,000 years, like 2,300 years or something like that. So we are talking about a specific activation that has not been in place or has not activated for a very long period of time. And we're talking about the planet Uranus, you guys. This is ruling the sign of Aquarius, which is the age that we are in the process of transitioning into right now. And we're talking about the planet Mars. This is our energy body. This is action. This is passion, right? This is motivation and courage and willpower, but it's also anger and aggression and hostility and rage and war and battle and conflict and stuff like that. And Mars, it's heat. It's the hot planet. It's the red planet. It's a fire planet. And again, like, it rules our energy body. And Uranus is the ruler, like I said, of the transition that we are going through right now into the age of Aquarius. But Uranus is also the great awakener. Uranus brings shocks and surprises and throws everything like completely up in the air, hits us out of the blue with stuff whenever we are off course in any type of a way and maybe not even realizing it, so that we can get back into a proper alignment with what is conducive to like our authenticity and our authentic growth in a direction that is really sort of helping us to activate our destiny and come into the truth of our potential. Uranus always wants the realist expression of the authentic purpose, okay? And when I call Uranus the great rectifier, Uranus puts things right. And whenever we get off track or off course or off the path that is conducive to like the development of that potential, that authentic potential within us, Uranus a lot of times will come through and sort of slap us around a little bit in order to like shake us up, or, you know, knock some sense into us, or just like awaken us to something. Uranus is also the great awakener and rules like instantaneous conscious awakenings and like flashes of insight and stuff like that. And with Uranus and Mars, you guys, coming together with the north node of the moon. This is the other body that is involved in this trilogy of planets that's coming together. This is like the destiny point. This is what we're being pulled to. The north node also amplifies energy because it's like sort of the lesson that we are supposed to be learning. And with Uranus and north node and Mars, you guys, this is just like some very fast-paced, radical, spontaneous, combustible, dynamic change in order to realign things in a way that is conducive to that authentic growth, to that authentic potential, because that is honestly what is necessary right now as we are changing course, as we are shifting paradigms, and we are coming to a place where we need to break ourselves free from these generational like karmic patterns and stuff like that maybe had suited us in the past, but at this point in time are like limiting and holding us back, repressing our ability to grow in a new direction, which actually, because we're moving into the age of Aquarius, is a new direction that is actually aligned with like our original authenticity, like who we actually originally were, and we may have gotten very off course from that at this point in time. But anyways, this cycle is really going to be rearranging things in some pretty dynamic ways, and there's a massive information component to this because Mercury, the messenger planet, is forming an exact square to Uranus for this new moon cycle. We also have this new moon cycle happening in a 3-degree orb trine to Jupiter stationed retrograde. When a planet stations retrograde, as I said in my intro, or stations to go direct, when a planet is stationary in the sky, period, this means the planet is just like not really moving, just sort of like holding out at a specific degree. And when that happens, that also amplifies and magnifies the like the power and the potency of the attributes of that planet. And Jupiter expands things. Jupiter is about truth. Jupiter is about freedom. Jupiter is about justice. And so this is a cycle with some very, very strong, expansive, and powerful, like truth will set you free type of vibes. But on the other hand, also some massive upheaval that is likely just coming from a direction that we never saw or expected. This is an unpredictable cycle, you guys. Things are likely not going to go the way that we think they will go. And the more that we are attached to an outcome, the more that we are attached to a specific set of conditions and a way that things need to be in this energy, the more difficult this experience is likely to be. So without further rambling on, let me get into the specifics of this new moon chart as it's playing out. First of all, I wrote down a bunch of themes that I feel like are really sort of characterizing the energy that we have going on this cycle. First of all, a cycle of expansion and growth in alignment with justice, truth, and freedom, because this new moon is happening at 5 degrees or 6 degrees. For those of you who are unaware, in terms of the astrology work that I do and that are new to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. But I read the Sabian symbols as an aspect of my astrological interpretation. And when we read the Sabian symbols, which are a group of symbols that describe each and every one of the 360 degrees of the zodiac, we always round up a degree because we are looking at the wave of energy that is coming in, that is beginning to manifest, that is really playing a stronger role and influence, as opposed to the wave of energy that is going out and that is dissipating and beginning to sort of fade away. So once a planet is already at a degree, it's sort of like already pulling in and bringing in and picking up on the wave of energy that is incoming. So when we are looking at the Sabian symbols, we round up a degree, we read the incoming wave of energy instead of the wave of energy that is sort of like dissipating and going out, sort of fading away, right? And so when I'm talking today about the degree placements in this analysis of this new moon that we have going on, I'm going to be talking about the degree placements rounded up. So when I'm talking about the position of the new moon, instead of saying 5 degrees and 38 minutes of Leo, I'm going to be saying 6 degrees of Leo, because I'm going to be talking about the Sabian symbol in correspondence to that specific degree. And I feel like it just makes things, it helps me to just like keep things a little bit more organized and coherent in my brain than having all these degrees and minutes and this and that. I'm just rounding up a degree so that I can look at the degree in association with the Sabian symbols. So that's what's going on there. Now back to these themes that I was talking about. I was talking about, you know, Jupiter in the trine to the new moon. This is a cycle of growth and expansion in alignment with truth, freedom, and justice. This is actually like a very divinely like placed and blessed and lucky transit to have Jupiter stationing in a trine to the new moon. This is a very, very benevolent aspect. Like this is definitely doing a lot to support a lot of situations that maybe hadn't been going so well. And we are heading towards Jupiter retrograde season as well, which is about sort of like returning lost opportunities or things that we've been putting like work and effort into that we haven't really reaped rewards of, or that have sort of like gone by the wayside, kind of getting like a second look or a second opportunity. This is sort of expanding things that maybe we had lost hope in as well. It's returning hope to situations that we maybe, you know, had forsaken or something at this point in time. A lot of times when Jupiter goes retrograde, things that we had, you know, put a lot of hope and faith and work into in the past, but that never seemed to like pan out or something like that, are like reinvigorated, and like the blessings can come through from things we've done in the past when we have Jupiter going retrograde. And, you know, in the sign of Aries is also the sign of the pioneer. This is about independence. This is about doing something new, going in a new direction, taking some type of different action, like just creating some type of new experience. And with Jupiter forming the trine to the new moon in Leo, this is definitely all month, again, like creating like this undercurrent also of just like this hope and this faith and this positivity that things are going to sort of like fall into place. Jupiter is definitely facilitating though things having to do with like litigation or the justice system, or things that have generally seemed like unfair, or that just have not, like I said, like things that we may have lost hope or lost faith in at this point in time sort of being reinvigorated in one way or another throughout the course of this cycle. So that's very interesting, and that's a very positive indication for the ultimate trajectory of how things are like playing out throughout the course of the cycle, despite the upheavals and stuff that might be also kind of like crashing down around us. But we have that. And also in this fire energy, passions and desires for something new, Jupiter in the sign of Aries, that might be like driving some of this change that's going on. Extremes and shocks and unexpected change that are breaking us out of old or stagnant situations. Remember, the nodes of the moon are very much activated in this as well. Some perhaps like type of awakening that we are coming to, or something that we are being made aware of, or some like flash of insight, or like dynamic instantaneous shift in perspective or something like that could really be playing some type of major role in sort of snapping us out of things or rearranging the trajectory of our lives. Like I was saying, like plans at this point in time, you guys, like plans that we're trying to make and keep for ourselves and like the trajectory of our future at this point in time, like good luck with that. Trying to really hold tight to any of that type of stuff right now, or being in any state of resistance in terms of these changes that are coming, is probably not going to benefit us. And it's sort of like we are like, I don't know, like spitting into the wind or something if we are trying to take that approach to dealing with the stuff that is coming up right now. Radical awakenings, radical realignments going on, and Mercury, you guys, in an exact square to Uranus for this new moon. With the North Node only 1 degree away, Mars only 3 degrees away, this is big, shocking news and information that changes our plans for the future, that changes our status quo, that changes what we thought we had going on, that changes what we thought we knew about ourselves, about our life, about our past, about our future, that changes everything. Like, that is what we're talking about at the time that we are in. And I promise you guys, like, you might be sitting there watching this thinking like, wow, this girl's like really over the top. Like, this girl's really over dramatizing things right now. But the thing is, I'm actually not. Like, I'm honestly trying to be a little bit more restrained in my expression of the craziness of this cycle, because it just really is. And it's just these times that we're in. Like I said, this is a once in like 2,000 year activation, and it just so happens to be happening in correlation with our transition to the age of Aquarius right now. Everything else that is playing out, everything else that is going on. Pluto still at the United States natal return degree, revolutionary energy, and of course this is Uranus involved in this activation. Dynamic change leading to the vibrational shift that is helping us transition into the age of Aquarius. Very, very significant critical activations playing out this cycle. Unsettling, uncomfortable, chaotic, anxious, overwhelming stuff that is going on. There could potentially be, with Mercury in the square to Uranus, lots and lots and lots of high anxiety, high nervous energy, feeling like on one hand, in one moment, like we are having this epiphany and we are seeing everything clearly, but then like second guessing it, questioning our judgment, questioning our understanding, questioning our even grasp on reality at this point in time, questioning ourselves generally, like just a lot of uncertainty and a lot of unsettled energy that could be going on. And fighting, you guys, like I said, fights and arguments, aggression, debates, but most likely the themes that these are going to be regarding over the truth, justice, and freedom, with the new moon forming a trine to Jupiter stationed in the sky, but also these Taurus themes as well: financial freedom, financial independence, resources, supplies, food, values, morals, stability, material comfort, and within work dynamics and partnerships, agreements, arrangements. And this could also have to do or be a result of like battles of the ego, battles of the will, pride, loyalties, because of like a stubborn attitude. These fixed signs, you guys, like we're talking about Leo, we're talking about Taurus, like these squares that are going on, these are fixed signs. This is a stubborn energy. Fixed signs create resistance. This is like a full expression of the specific energy in the sign. Like they're not very adaptable or adjustable to change the same way that, the cardinal and the mutable signs are. And that's sort of exactly what we don't need right now at this point in time, is that state of resistance, is that stubborn energy. On one hand we do, because on one hand, this is a period of time where we are really seriously being blessed and inspired to fight for our truth, to fight for our freedom, to fight for justice, to fight for what's right, and to fight for our ability to honestly like be ourselves and express our truth and express our authenticity and tap into our potential and be able to let like our own unique like flag fly and not have to worry about like what we might have to lose or what we might have to sacrifice as a result of that. Like this is the period of time where universe is supporting us to actually be our authentic self and to actually tap into our unique gifts and talents and abilities, because we are all on a path right now where universe really wants us to activate our destiny, to rise into our highest potential. And we can't do that if we are hiding from our personal truth because of some type of fear of invalidation or criticism of, our support systems and from the past and stuff like that. And that is another reason why a lot of things are being like dynamically and drastically rearranged right now, because we are needing to be able to attract different dynamics into our lives that are in support of these changes back into our original authenticity that we are making, that we are going through right now. And a lot of things got to fall away. A lot of commitments and relationships and just like status quo situations need to fall away because they are not in support of that authentic growth that universe is calling for and supporting right now. So all of that type of stuff, you guys, like might be the topics and the themes of the fights or the arguments or the debates that may be happening over the course of this month, and also defending or protecting children, our loved ones, or just like our personal identity, like our right to be ourselves in one way or another. because of the Leo emphasis that we have going on as well. And like I said, like things are not going to go the way that we plan in this energy, that we anticipate in this energy. Like it's probably honestly best to sort of like not make plans, like real plans that, you know, we really are dependent on or reliant on, or like we need to happen for some reason, because any type of resistance that we are putting out there to being able to generally just go with the flow of things is likely to sort of blow up in our face and just make the path in the immediate future like that much more challenging. So we are trying, in the face of all of this stubborn fixed energy that might make it very, very difficult, we are trying to be as adaptable, as open-minded, as flexible, and as like solidified in our faith that everything is truly happening for us. Every man is a golden link in the chain of my good, and there is no loss in divine mind. Anything that may appear as a loss at this point in time will be, you know, replaced, or you will be realigned with something of its equivalent or even better, if it's possible to imagine that. So we are not focusing on loss. We are just in the process of a realignment that is going on right now. And we are trusting the universe that whatever is happening is for our highest, for our best, for our growth, to bring us into alignment with ourselves and with the people, circumstances, opportunities, and relationships externally that are supportive of this process of growth we are going through right now. And as a result of this, down the road, in this blessing in disguise, silver lining energy that Uranus also represents, we will come to discover that it was this period of time, it was these changes, it was this period of facing our fears and this discomfort and this realignment that went on and that are going on right now that actually opened us up to the things that are so much more fulfilling, give our lives so much more purpose and so much more joy going forward. We just haven't gotten to that future yet, guys, but it's coming, it's there, and that is where we need to have our mind's eye. That is where we need to have our vision in the face of the things that may be crumbling right now, only in order so that we can get there. So that's where we're going. But in terms specifically of this Mercury square Uranus exact for our new moon all month long, you guys, we need to try our best to slow down. This is a very, very, very fast-paced energy. It is very hard to concentrate when we have Mercury in a square to Uranus. And as a result of that, I'm going to do my best on these reports, and I apologize if they are sort of like scattered and discombobulated throughout the course of this throughout the course of this Leo cycle, because Mercury and Uranus, you guys, are both like my primary planets, and coming into a square, I'm just letting you know in advance, I may have a little bit of a more difficult time in like streamlined expression over the course of this next cycle, but we're just going to work with it. We're going to go with it. But nervous, anxious energy, scattered minds, scattered ideas, like I said, hard to focus, hard to concentrate, hard to maintain like a streamline, like cognitive form of expression. And this is because with Mercury in the trine or in the square to Uranus, a lot of times ideas are just flashing through our mind so quickly that it's like by the time that it's like we can't get it out before we've lost that train of thought because something else is coming in. You know what I mean? And so writing things down, you know, if you have like a brainstorming thing, or if you have like some inspiration coming out and stuff, like recording it, verbally recording it, writing it down, and then, you know, making sure that you go back and double check it the next day, because that is another aspect of this energy. Like we may be getting these, like I said, like epiphanies and like flashes of insight, and it's almost can be like prophetic in nature. However, we are not paying attention to the details. And also with Jupiter as well in the trine to the new moon, like we're not paying attention to the fine print this cycle. We are not paying attention to the details. We may actually be like a little bit sloppy in the like fine print presentation of things, and it's like things are not like fully thought through all the way. It's like we have this big idea, like we see the overall plan, like we see the whole vision, but it's like how it practically comes into being, like what would actually need to transpire in order to make that vision come to life. Like this is the part that may be lacking a little bit. Like things just, you know, seeing the whole vision, seeing the whole image, sort of wanting to jump maybe like head first into something really spontaneously, like really unexpectedly out of the blue in an instant. But we are just like the details, like I said, like the details may not be that well thought through in this energy. So just something that we want to keep in mind. Brilliant flashes of insight, but sloppy details half thought out. Again, this specific aspect also generally does a lot to upset plans, schedules, agendas, stuff like that. So all month long, it may be really hard to stay on task. It may be really hard to concentrate. It may be really hard to focus. Anxiety, nervous energy, nervous tension could be running very, very high. If you feel like you're just like a ball of nerves or like a nervous wreck throughout the course of this cycle, I'm kind of like saying, just accept it. Don't view it as a negative necessarily, because that is going to create more anxiety and more panic about it and more, that will amplify it. But if we can just realize like, okay, this is just like a collective frequency, and everything, there might not even be anything wrong or going on with you in your situation or in your life, but you may just be picking up on this collective anxiety, and it may be impacting you. You may just feel like this nervous energy. Problem sleeping as well could be very significant over the course of this cycle that we have playing out right now, this Leo cycle. So, if you are feeling this energy, if you are feeling this nervous tension, we just want to do our best to try to ground ourselves, slow down, deep breaths, not putting pressure on ourselves to like be in a rush, to be on task, to be on time, because these plans and schedules and agendas and arrangements probably aren't going to work out as we expected anyways. And we sort of just want to give ourselves a little bit of a break. Again, like I said, don't make more of an issue out of the anxiety. Like, don't stress on it more than you need to. Accepting it and just realizing things are crazy right now, but it's not going to be like this. This is just a couple weeks that we are in this more intense Uranus energy. And by the time we get to the middle of August, it's going to start waning out a little bit. And we just kind of got to make it through that point in time. But we don't need to overstress ourselves out. And again, like, huge infusion of faith to help us out with this cycle. Jupiter in the trine, Jupiter station. Jupiter rules faith and a higher power and, that galactic wisdom and stuff like that. So that is really what we need to latch onto. And if we're feeling, like something's coming at us and it's got us all anxious, but we don't know what it is yet, but we can feel it. Like, we just need to go back to that place of faith and knowing that whatever it is, whatever is happening, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. No matter how it presents on the surface, it's a good thing, and it's moving us in the right direction, and it is going to, everyone involved in the interaction is actually there to benefit us in one way or another. So that's our story, and we're sticking with it. And that attitude, that mindset, that perception in and of itself is going to help break the tension, break the resistance, and allow just a better experience of navigating this energy generally. But yeah, like, I just would not place too great of expectations on ourselves over the course of the cycle to really, be able to deliver in terms of like the mental realms of like focus and concentration to the same extent that we maybe could before. But again, this is that like spontaneous awakening. That is this like seeing the light just out of nowhere, and that mind shift, that perspective, that mental energy really changing some things for us. So this is not a negative, you guys. It's just a different mental energy. Like, instead of being able to concentrate and focus on what we want and this and that and what we're thinking about and what we're talking about, this is sort of like universe is just putting stuff in our head whenever universe feels like it, to help us make some shifts and changes that again are helping to restore our individual identity and our individuality, our uniqueness and our authenticity, and help us rediscover these gifts, talents, blessings, and abilities within ourselves so that we can begin to tap them, cultivate them, and come back into this place of self-empowerment and self-mastery and ultimately co-creation with God and universe, as that is the trajectory of humanity as we transition into the age of Aquarius. So that is, we got all that going on very high speed. This new moon cycle is probably going to go by in like the blink of an eye, and it's like, when it's over, we're probably just going to be sitting there like looking around like, oh my God, what just happened? Where am I? But that's just the vibes we got going on. Mars is also, like I've mentioned, coming into the conjunction with Uranus. Mars is 3 degrees out from Uranus for the new moon. So that means all new moon cycle as well. There is likely to be just this very fast-paced, dynamic, spontaneous change energy. Like Mars is how we act, how we behave as well. People are likely to be acting in some very unexpected, shocking, bizarre ways this cycle. So it's another thing. I wouldn't have like super high expectations for other people to be doing what they said that they would do in this energy as well. We're probably saving ourselves quite a bit of disappointment by not expecting people to necessarily adhere to the previous versions of themselves that maybe we have become accustomed to in the past as this cycle unfolds. But passion's running very, very high. People also with Mercury in the sign of Leo and this fixed energy, Mercury forming the square also to Mars, Leo ruling the ego, Mars also ruling the ego. People could be feeling very entitled, self-righteous. If they are coming from a place that is too attached to ego, acting too much out of the ego, this could be another thing that is sort of bringing up some of these fights or conflicts going on. But also, like on that same front, anywhere where we are being too ego dominant, where we are being overly attached to our ego because of Mars in proximity to Uranus for this new moon, we're also like likely to go through some type of upset along those very same lines, because Mars ruling the ego coming into the conjunction, in the conjunction with Uranus for this new moon cycle, Mars-related things, Mars-related themes, which would be over-identification with the ego, undergoing some type of upset to break out of some type of pattern that is not supportive of the authentic growth, right? So this is also like, it's just emphasizing anywhere that maybe these ego issues or the self-entitlement or this just like selfish behavior and action is coming up, like that is also the very thing which is likely to be facing some type of radical shift or change or upset in this energy. So another thing to, keep in mind, sort of getting slapped around a little bit by universe for bad behavior over the course of this cycle. And another thing that I need to mention, we do have Venus and the black moon in a conjunction for this cycle. Now, Venus is not a super imperative critical planet throughout this cycle. This is a new moon in Leo, which is ruled by the sun in the conjunction to the moon, obviously in the sign of Leo. This is very much about very, very fiery cycle about the light, generally the sun, what we need to grow, what we need to thrive, what makes us feel alive. That's another thing that we're probably striving for throughout the course of this cycle, re-identifying with or realigning with what we need to truly feel alive in this life, in this experience. What gives us that purpose? What makes us grow? What makes us thrive? All of those type of things could also be playing into everything else that is unfolding throughout the course of this cycle in one way or another. But Venus ruling Taurus, where Mars, Uranus, North Node are right now, where this conjunction is happening, also the square, forming the square to Mercury in the sign of Leo, where our new moon is happening, Venus being in the conjunction to the black moon. I've talked about this a lot in my videos for the past 2 days. If you missed those and you want to know more about Venus and the black moon together, definitely go back and check those out. But just to sort of briefly summarize, Venus and the black moon together, this is the light and the dark side of the feminine fused, integrated. This is an integration of our shadows, essentially, with the lighter aspects of ourselves. And this is an embrace of the darker aspects of our nature. And almost like also like a clearing and a release through self-acceptance and through love. But this is an inner integration of the feminine dynamics and components of the human collective as this month plays out as well. This can also, though, represent some displays on like a larger scale of some distorted feminine energy. This can also represent secrets or hidden things or mysterious things or just things happening sort of behind closed doors or in the dark in regards to love, in regards to money, financial situations, agreements, relationships, romantic relationships, also stuff going on within the home and the family, any type of darkness or shadows or like I said, like hidden or forbidden or mysterious, like these type of things in the realms of love, money, home, family, those topics, those themes, there could be an emphasis on that playing out throughout the course of the cycle too. Some things maybe really being exposed to us, things that have been hidden from us that It's changing a lot of things, but it's also maybe leading to some, again, type of self-acceptance or some type of self-love that is assisting in this process of Uranus and the North Node and Mars and this radical alignment with our original authenticity, like embracing our own darkness, embracing our own shadows, therefore stripping them of their power over us so that we can become a more conscious creator of our own reality as a necessary component of this transition into the age of Aquarius and all else that is playing out. I should also say that Mercury is also in a trine to Chiron and Aries for our new moon as well. So there's definitely also a dimension of healing, some inner child wounding, or some subconscious programming that could be going on throughout the course of the cycle as well. So honestly, like a lot of healing, a lot of getting back in touch with the truth of who we really are, and a very universally cosmically supported ability to do so through truth, freedom, and justice having an expanded hold over whatever is playing out over the course of the cycle. We need, like I've said several times, we need to do our very, very best to go with the flow this cycle, despite some very likely strong internal resistances to doing just that. But it really is it will just help us, you guys. Like the more flexible, adaptable, less resistant, less stubborn, less fixed to an outcome, to a set of circumstances that we can be, the better in this energy. Also, with Jupiter being so emphasized, stationed in the sky, trying the new moon, self-control, self-discipline, not letting our temper or anger explode or be like way overblown in some type of a way is likely to benefit us, especially in this energy where we really may be like geared up for a fight in order to, especially, protect or defend what we love, or like with the Leo energy, like our very life itself, our identity, or what makes us feel alive. So just all of this stuff playing in, shocks, changes, upsets along all the Taurus themes, resources, supply chains, food, things coming from the earth generally, values, financial systems, economies, work relationships, projects that we have going on, partnerships, romantic relationships, and also there could be something going on, like there could be an emphasis as well on like elites or celebrities in the news in some shocking or unexpected ways as well because of Mercury in the sign of Leo. So like all of these themes, value, resources, money, projects, partnerships, relationships, supplies, food, supply chains, economies, also like celebrities, elite, ruling classes, shocking, surprising, upheaval, radical shift, shocking news. This is what we're looking at over the course of this cycle as it unfolds. And we know that this is about a transition out of the old and into the new. And it is even being emphasized by the position of the new moon itself happening at, like I said, 6 degrees of Leo in terms of the Sabian symbol placement. That Sabian symbol of that degree is an old-fashioned woman and a flapper. This is a juxtaposition of the old established order and way of doing things coming up against the radical and the new and the inspired and the fresh. And that's what we are doing. We are breaking through the matrices of the past, breaking out of karmic loops, breaking out of generational loops and ways of doing things, generational trauma, subconscious programming, on the individual level, all the way out into the macrocosm level in terms of like our actual governments and world orders and stuff like that have been in existence for long periods of time, breaking down right now, crumbling right now, making way for the new order, the age of Aquarius, which is actually inspired by the individual human spirit coming back online, the awakening of the collective spirit of humanity that is coming back in alignment again with this individual, unique, authentic potential. And it is the age of self-knowledge, the age of self-mastery, the age of self-empowerment, and ultimately co-creation with God and universe. And it's like, whereas in the age of Pisces, what we're transitioning out of right now, it's like there was a spotlight shining down from the top, one spotlight shining down from the top that illuminated the whole collective so that everyone could see, right? But this age of Aquarius that we are transitioning into, this is not a spotlight anymore. This is each individual human spirit, human unit turning on its own light. This is millions and billions of little lights lighting up that illuminates the collective. That's what we're moving away from. We're moving away from this system, this hierarchy that told everything below it, you know, how to exist essentially, to now each individual telling themselves how to exist in alignment with their personal authentic blueprint and their highest truth and their highest potential. And this conscious awareness, this light of conscious awareness coming on individually, then extrapolating out. And so the whole collective is this massive ball of light instead of just this one spotlight overhead that held the power shining down for like on the whole collective so that everyone could see, you know what I mean? And it makes the light even that much brighter because the light is definitely not going to, it's going to be much dimmer by the time that it reaches the ground when it's coming from that one overhead spotlight that's holding all the power. But if it's coming from within each individual unit already like on the ground, then it's just the illumination is going to be so much brighter. We're going to be able to see so much more, and we're going to be able to just have such a greater understanding of this reality and of our ability to navigate and to create in it. As a result of that, the light of conscious awareness being returned to the human collective, that is what this transition and that is what this process is ultimately about. And back to the Sabian symbols, an old-fashioned woman and a flapper. We are going through that process right now. We have these two worlds sort of juxtaposed against one another, maybe looking back at one another, but we are all going to be transitioning into the new trend, the new phase, the new energy that is incoming. Again, that is no longer basking in the glow of the overhead light and the power of others, but is lighting itself from within based on a recognition of the flame and an ignition of the flame within the heart and soul of each and every one of us. So very interesting Sabian symbol for the position of this new moon in Leo that we have going on as well. Of course, talking about the light, we are also talking about a Leo new moon cycle that is doing all of this for us. The earth is always in a polar opposition to the sun. So in a polar opposition to the sun and the moon today, 6 Aquarius, a masked figure performs ritualistic acts and a mystery play. And this Sabian symbol, what's happening on the ground, the position of the earth, also reminds me a bit of the position of the south node of the moon right now at 20 degrees of Scorpio. That Sabian symbol is a woman drawing aside 2 dark curtains that close the entrance to a sacred pathway. And so these two symbols, in effect, I feel like this is talking about that we are figuring out the mystery, that we are seeing behind the mask, that we are seeing behind the curtain, that, you know, that light within us is being ignited and we are being illuminated with the truth of what has really been going on in the shadows. Also, Venus and the black moon together, Jupiter in the trine to the new moon in Leo. I feel like this cycle is also very much about shining light into the shadows. And again, those like secretive, powerful forces that may have been controlling things behind the scene. And this also would be a metaphor to our own subconscious mind, our own shadow side issues. We're coming out of 2 months of intense shadow side energy, helping us to gain awareness of that hidden power operating within us, crack through our own codes, take back the power of our own internal algorithms through this conscious awareness. And I feel like this is talking about on the ground, we are releasing any type of illusion based in fear that we've been in that has been keeping us out of the strength of our own power and our own ability to co-create consciously our experiences going forward, which is, of course, a part of this transition. We also have Mars at 16 degrees of Taurus. An old teacher fails to interest his students in traditional knowledge. This is also another symbol talking about the move away from the past, a need to sort of see things from a fresh perspective, not being interested in the dogmas maybe that we were associated with the old perspectives in the old world and just not being interested in it anymore, ready to move towards the incoming energy. And that is sort of where our focus is at this point in time. And that's basically what I have to say about the Sabian symbols. The North Node also in the conjunction to Uranus right now and the square to Mercury, 20 degrees of Taurus, wisps of wing-like clouds are streaming across the sky. I feel like this is also telling about this elevated perspective, these streams of consciousness that are just sort of flowing in from the divine, from universe, in this energy throughout this cycle, and these streams of consciousness, this elevated understanding, this perhaps like awakening to something, also doing the thing of helping to break us out of the mystery, dissolve the illusion, see behind the curtains, recognize the path ahead, and no longer be overpowered by our fears or by our subconscious programming or by the unaccepted, unrecognized, like, aspects of ourself and aspects of our psyche that we push away because we don't want to look at or accept. So I feel like this is a very, very crucial, critical, transformative cycle that we are coming into, you guys. Really huge in terms of its just potential to totally change things for us. I really feel like I've said a couple times, like, I mean, we're in a cycle of totally unexpect the unexpected. There is no way that I can sit here and, even as an astrologer, like, anticipate what might be coming with this, because that is the entire point. Like, that is the entire purpose, is not to be able to do that when we have Uranus operating. But I can say that going with the flow and being just open to whatever is happening and choosing consciously to view the shifts that are happening as a good thing, no matter how they seem on the surface, is likely to be a self-fulfilling prophecy in this energy. So that's what we're going with. Now we are going to draw a synchronicity card just to give us a little bit of advice and guidance from God to help us navigate something that we just need to keep in mind that is gonna help us make it through this very significant and important cycle we have going on. And these are synchronicity cards. They're called synchronicity cards. They are by Janice Schauman. I believe that she may be preparing some more for sale, although I'm not exactly sure. We had 2 cards that just popped out. Just a minute. So we're going to read both of them. This is really interesting. Okay, and the first card that we have coming out, it says, forget the past. And in the context of everything that we've been talking about this cycle, like, that is what we are doing. Like, we are moving away from our previous status quo, our previous identity, the world that we've created for ourselves previously, in order to walk into this new world that is actually made for us and not something that we need to, like, bend ourselves over backwards in order to fit into. So we're talking about forget the past. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. Give up your worldly beliefs and learn the truths of life. Feed your subconscious mind with life-giving patterns. Accept the positive aspects of God and let go of all the negativity. Forget the past, get on with the future. In this way, your spirit will gradually grow and you will reach your goal. That is one piece of advice. The next piece of advice, it says sort your friends. Also very relevant in this energy. He that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind. Proverbs 11:29. Your house is your mind. Fill your mind only with thoughts of harmony, health, peace, joy, and goodwill. Likewise, choose only those friends who embody those same sorts of ideals. Having negative thoughts and negative friends is not the road you wish to take. Be discriminating, sort out your thoughts, and sort through your friends. You already know the answer to this. So these 2 things really, I feel like, go very much hand in hand, and it makes sense in terms of the context of the energy. Like, things are changing now. We are moving away from the past ways of being, doing, thinking, feeling, relating, all of that type of stuff. Things are happening for us in order to bring us into contact with new relationships and the situations that generally fit us and are supportive of our growth going forward. And we just need to forget the past and sort our friends as we go through this cycle. That is the advice, wisdom, and guidance from universe. So that is what I have to say today, you guys, for this should be a very interesting new moon that we have playing out in the sign of Leo. I hope you guys liked it. I hope I was able to provide something for everyone that can give you guys just a little bit of something to benefit you as you go throughout this cycle in one way or another. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. If you think that they would like this type of content too, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps my channel grow when you do that. Leave me comments, you guys. I really genuinely, truly appreciate your comments. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you guys all so much for being here and for being so supportive. I really love you guys. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social media stuff. Those are in my description box below. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We're going to have another big video to talk talk about. My next video will be the video on Mars, Uranus, and the North Node coming into a conjunction. Actually, to be completely honest with you, I may not release that video tomorrow. I may not release that video until Saturday or Sunday. I'm not doing a specific weekend video this weekend just because the whole weekend is going to be characterized by this aspect that we have. And so that is the focal point. That's what I'm going to be talking about. So if you don't see a video tomorrow for the weekend, no worries. There will be one specifically on Mars, Uranus, North Node conjunction coming out before the end of the weekend because this activation is happening on the 31st, happening on Sunday. So I haven't really decided how I'm going to do that yet. So just letting you guys know. But anyways, I will be back soon with that video to talk all about, in specifics, this energy, although it's probably going to be reiterating what I've basically been talking about for like the last month, but condensed in a one form video. So I'm going to stop talking now. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Happy new moon, and I will see you on my next video. Bye, guys.